Welcome to the MLB Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guys Mo and Wara in the Midwest. We got Nate Weitzer on the East Coast, and we are looking at all nighttime games here in this Friday night slate for you guys. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page. Continue to follow along with us. We are bringing you these videos each and every weekday of this regular season. Also want you to head to thelines.com. I have plenty of great content on there summer long, heading into that fall as well. Also have our great odds checker tool on there. Make sure you're shopping those lines to the best of your ability all MLB season long. And as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to ftpicks.com or dkpicks.com. Find those listings in your area, such as what we have for tonight, gentlemen, kicking things off with the Pirates and the Phillies. We've got Bryce Wilson in Philadelphia taking on Bailey Falter, minus 275, big favorites for the Phils at home. The Reds and Mike Minor are in Washington taking on Cade Cavalli, minus 145 for the Nats at home. The Angels and Reed Detmers are in Toronto taking on Mitch White and the Blue Jays, minus 184. The Blue Jays there. The Rockies and Chad Kuhl have the visiting Mets in town. Chris Bassett on the mound for the Mets, minus 330, big favorites for the Metropolitans there. JT Chargois and the Rays are taking on the Red Sox and Michael Wacha, minus 125 for those Bo Sox at home. A game that I think we probably will look at because we continue to fade the Red Sox, and it continues to pay off as they are struggling mightily right now. Next game up is the Tigers and Tyler Alexander in Texas against Glenn Otto and the Rangers, minus 165 for the Rangers at home. The Padres and Joe Musgrove continue to roll along in KC, taking on Chris Bubich and the Royals, minus 190 for those visiting Padres. Justin Steele and the Cubs visiting the Brewers. Freddie Peralta, minus 150 for the Brew Crew at home. The D-backs and Tommy Henry are in Chicago taking on those White Sox, and Johnny Cueto, minus 170 for Cueto on the mound. Baltimore and Kyle Bradish are in Houston taking on Lance McCullers Jr., minus 190 for the Stros at home. The Giants and Alex Wood are in Minnesota taking on Joe Ryan and those Twins, minus 125 for the home team there. The Braves and Spencer Strider in St. Louis taking on Jose Quintana and the Cards, minus 155 for those Bravos. The Yankees are in Oakland, and Garrett Cole's taking on J.P. Sears in Oakland, like I said, minus 240 for the Yankees. And the last game on the night here, gentlemen, Shane Bieber and the Guardians are in Seattle taking on Logan Gilbert, minus 115 for those Guardians on the road there. So let's kick things off with a game that I did mention. Those Braves are continue to be pretty hot there. Spencer Strider continuing to play really well as well. A total of 7 runs and a pretty good pitching matchup, as Quintana's been pretty good there for the Cardinals since he came there. Nate, kick us off here in this one. What are you looking at? Minus 150 for Atlanta on the money line, plus 120 for those Cardinals.
Yeah, I know Mo was all over this at minus 140 last night because he obviously watches Strider pitch a lot, and whether it's the eye test or the numbers, I mean, the kid is nice. I mean, some of the best batted ball or lack thereof data I've seen: 15% swinging strike rate, only 68% zone contact, and 6% barrel. I mean, guys are just not able to catch up to his stuff. It means 98 miles per hour pretty consistently. The last time he faced St. Louis, 6 innings, 12 Ks, no earned in July. Obviously much better if you're a righty going against this lineup. He's allowed just 1 earned in 4 of his last 5. The exception was that, quote, lucky start for the Mets there where they scratched across 4 runs. And, I mean, the numbers have backed him up that was pretty lucky. I mean, his data is incredible, like I said. So I'm looking at the Braves to win for sure. And some of the player performance doubles you get with Strider was fluctuated between just utterly dominating with double-digit Ks and like 5-6 Ks. But if you take the 10-plus Ks in a win, it's plus 600 at FanDuel. Like I said, he had 12 against the Cards last time out. And Quintana, yeah, pitching pretty well, but it definitely was shaky in his last start. I mean, walked 3, struck out no one, was pulled in the 3rd inning against the D-backs. He needs that high ground ball rate. The Braves might not oblige him there. They're 3rd in weighted runs created plus against lefties with the hardest hard contact rate, the highest hard contact rate, that is, against lefties. So tough matchup for him. I also like the Braves to go over 4 runs here, the way they produce, and Strider to get those Ks in the win. If you want to try to get better odds that as this line continues to climb, like I said, it was minus 140. It might close closer to minus 160 when these numbers are apparent.
Yeah, this one's already on the move, so you better hurry. I saw 1 minus 45 still left on the board. I think that's barely playable. Once you start getting past that, I think it's a little iffy. Yeah, it looks like a good matchup for the Braves on both sides of it. Strider completely dominated the Cardinals last time he faced them, which was July 7th. 6 innings pitched, 12 strikeouts, 4 base runners. I mean, doesn't get any better than that. Only an 85-mile-per-hour exit velocity allowed. Overall, St. Louis is excellent against his primary pitch types, but I think a lot of that is weighted toward facing lefties because they're below average by xWOBA against right-handed sliders and fastballs, and that's basically all Strider throws. He mixes in a few changeups every now and then. Yeah, it's hard to overstate how good Strider's been just overall. If you cut the minimum innings pitched on the leaderboards to 100 innings instead of qualified pitchers, Strider has the best xERA in baseball, second in FIP, second in xFIP. It's honestly possible that the projections, which like him quite a bit, are even underselling how good he is. And yeah, Quintana, he's been solid, but just that solid. And when the Braves are this strong against lefties, it looks like a fine matchup for them on that side. And then final thing I'm looking at is a couple potential missing pieces from the Cardinals. Nolan Arenado left to be with his wife for the birth of their child, I believe. Since he left the team yesterday, I'm not sure of his availability today. Yeah, it just depends on what's happening, I guess, probably, like what the timeline is looking like. I could see him sitting again today. If that's the case, this is a tremendous play. And then another thing is their only reliable reliever really has been Ryan Helsley. He's also supposed to be back today, but if he's coming back from injury, who knows how effective he can be. So it'd be less of a big deal if they had a deeper bullpen, but they really don't.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is an easy time to bet on Atlanta. Like you said, it's going to continue to grow there, and those odds are not going to get any better for you. So you definitely want to jump on that as soon as you are able for those Bravos up to a certain point. But let's move on to another game here that has two teams sort of on opposite sides of the coin here. In the Padres, Musgrove is in Kansas City taking on Chris Bubic. As we talked about, Bubic has been very, very bad lately. Joe Musgrove been, his normal consistent self. I don't think he's been too. I mean, San Diego as a whole has been a bit underwhelming since they made those big trades, and I don't think they're still happy to just be a game and a half ahead in that wild card ahead of the Phils there and the Brewers. But some opportunity to make up ground here, minus 180 as we mentioned, and as we say, Bubic has been very, very bad lately. So kick us off here, Mo, and tell us exactly: are we just fading Bubic here, or do you also like the matchup for Musgrove?
It's not anything special for Musgrove, I don't think. The Royals have been playing a bit better of late, and Bubic has actually been playing a bit better of late too. But yeah, I'm mostly just wanting to fade him. He's just been a disaster overall this season. Like, he's actually on a decent run of starts. He somehow has like a 3.7 ERA since like mid-July. But man, you open up his StatCast profile, it looks like somebody threw a bucket of paint from Blue Man Group performance on there. Just nothing red almost in that entire thing. Second percentile in the chase rate, fourth percentile xERA, ninth percentile in hard hit rate. It's pretty bad. And Padres also do quite well against left-handed changeups. They're sixth in WOBA, seventh in xWOBA. That's really Bubic's only good pitch. So it looks like they should pummel him. And one last concern I have here for Bubic is his fastball velocity is kind of tailing off pretty hard. It was up to 93 a couple starts ago, but fallen from 93 to 91.1 over his past 3 starts. So, yeah, if his fastball is slower and they're hammering his changeup, I just don't know what he's going to do. That's going to be positive here at all. I'll say, this is my last stand on Padres, I think, because I just keep losing money when I bet on them, and I don't know. The market's kind of coming in a little bit on the Royals, but I just can't see how the Padres aren't bigger than minus 200 favorites here.
Yeah, it's turnaround time for the Pods, and they've got their ace going, so I think it's a good spot. Musgrove, had struggled 4 starts ago. Since then, 16 Ks, no walks, 50% ground balls, under 20% hard contact. That's when he's at his best. I mean, the home runs have basically been the only issue. KC's 28th in home run rate. So I do like the matchup for him for sure. And the Padres were slightly below average against lefties until the last couple of weeks. Now they're hitting 280, 725 OPS against lefties. The Royals also have the worst bullpen ERA over the last month. On the season, I believe their entire staff has the worst K to walk ratio, so not a lot of help behind Bubic. If he struggles, I think it's a good spot to just bet on the Padres finally starting to turn things around, stop licking their wounds off this Fernando Tatis disaster, and try to string together some wins against bad teams.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird out there, like we were saying. They definitely need to have a lot more expectation on them at this point with all those big trades as well. So we'll see if they're able to turn that around. A team that I don't think we're going to bank on turning it around is those Boston Red Sox as they continue to hemorrhage losses and really continue to fall in the standings. Now 5th in the AL East. Cover your ears, Nate, if you don't want to hear this, but it is time to start looking at continuing to fade them. Now, this is a matchup here where they're taking on a guy, JT Chargois, who hasn't really started at all. He's a reliever coming in, giving them a lot of relief innings, been very good and enough for them to get the start as they're still chasing that wild card, or chasing the Yankees, but owning that top wild card spot in the AL. So a pretty good matchup here. I mean, Michael Wacha has been very, very good for, really the only pitcher that I think you can say has been super consistent throughout the year for this team. So, I mean, it's a small sort of line here in terms of plus 106 for those Rays against those favored Wacha and the Sox. But kick us off, Mo. I want to hear what you have to say here about JT Chargois and Michael Wacha Flocka there for the Sox.
I don't have anything to say about JT Chargois because I don't think he's going to pitch more than like an inning. And I don't have anything to say about Michael Wacha either. Well, from a betting standpoint, I actually have a lot to say about Michael Wacha. I would say I'm leaning Rays here for sure. I mean, I think if you can get plus 110, it's pretty good. I personally won't be betting it because I just told you that I'm about to be banned from the Padres. I'm already banned from Wacha. I've lost too much money fading Wacha. But every time I fade Wacha, I look in the box score, I watch him, and he's just dominating. And then I check his season-long numbers, and they're just not very good. Everything in his numbers is telling me he's a mediocre pitcher. So I don't understand what I'm missing here. Maybe he's just the luckiest pitcher in the world this year. His only good estimator is a 3.61 FIP. I mean, everything else is over 4. I mean, the only really change I'm seeing in his profile, his hard hit percent has dropped a lot. But even StatCast, which is supposed to be, reflecting this, still has him at a 4.26 xERA. His chase rate stinks. His called strike plus whiff rate stinks. He's got a 235 BABIP, which is 63 points lower than his career number. I think it's just blind luck, but I'm sick of losing money fading Wacha, so I'm going to let everyone else do it, and I wish them the best.
Yeah, first of all, Josh, I've been on Team Fade Red Sox for the last week and have been reaping in the rewards. So no heart betting here. Both with the Padres and with Wacha here, I think Mo's loss can be your gain, dear viewers, because I think things are going to start to come around to roost here. I mean, yeah, he's totally right that Wacha, you look at everything he did last year, it's worse this year in terms of swinging strike rate, first strike, outside zone swing rate. And with the Rays last year, he posted a 5.05 ERA. This year, he's at 2.28. It's just the regression's got to hit. It might hit against his former team. I mean, that's definitely a spot, especially they're so much hotter now than they were when he faced them in April. He gave up 2 solo shots then. I mean, the Rays won 6 straight. They have 22 walks, 19 extra base hits in that span. Randy Arozarena, one of the hottest hitters on the planet. They've won 6 straight and 8 of their last 9 against Boston. Their bullpen is back to dominating, which, as we know, Chargois will soon give way to those other relievers. And I think, that's when they're at their best against Boston, is when they have that massive bullpen advantage. And they certainly do. We talked about ad nauseum how bad Boston's bullpen is right now. And so if Wacha doesn't give them another one of those miraculous scoreless 6-inning starts, they're screwed. It's a slim margin, and it's just utterly ridiculous to have the Red Sox favored against anyone right now when they're the amount of bats missing from their lineup and arms missing from their pen.
Yeah, plenty of Rays baseball, like true Rays baseball in play right now from when we remember their small ball ways, their quality pitching, their good relief as well. So, and look, I got to pull out my high school French with JT Chargeois in there. So that was a good day for me as well. But that is all the time we have for you guys in this one. Make sure that you are liked and subscribed to that page. Continue to follow along with us. We are bringing you these videos each and every weekday of this regular season. So until we see you next, happy betting.